What's going on, y'all? It's Chris broadcasting from the D, and today we're gonna be reacting to that very viral clip from Perfecting Church where a woman came up front and donated, and the pastor told her this is only $1,200. The internet is having a fit about it. I've seen this video already, so I'm not reacting to it for the first time. But I wanted to share this video with you guys also with a bit of context with it and a little bit of history with it as well. So here we go. Let's get into the video. I, Roberta McCoy, giving faith and stand in unity with the vision of Perfecting Church of sowing this seed of $1,000 plus $235 and receiving the blessings to come to all that participated. Now that's only $1,200. Yes. She's like, y'all not listening to what I'm saying. If you have 1,000 plus 1,000. Well, I'm gonna work on the other 800. Well, that ain't what I asked you to do. I, Roberta McCoy, giving faith. She did the nervous smile and went ahead and cut up out of there. So I'm gonna add a little bit of context to this just for the sake of fairness. Now, what's going on here is people are tithing, of course, but they have some sort of system where they have lines depending on the amount you are giving. And I don't know how I feel about that because honestly, I think that it used to be anonymous how much you used to give. You have the envelope, you put in the amount, it was totally anonymous. You could put your name on it or not. I don't like this getting in line and making a spectacle out of giving because it puts pressure on people who really can't afford to tithe anyway. And you may have some people that are giving they last to this just because they don't want to be the odd person out. They don't want to look like the brokey in the church. So there's that. But I understand why the internet is having such a problem with this because the optics of it absolutely look bad. She comes up front, she's with the young man. I don't know if this is her son or grandson. It's not unusual here in a black church and probably everywhere else that the nana bring the grandkids with them to church or whatever. So it could be her grandkid, but you know Bishop Marvin Winans could have definitely handled this a bit better. So I understand where people are coming from, and also kind of berating her in front of the young man. Not a very good look. I don't I don't really think he intended to berate her. I could tell he was a bit annoyed by her not following directions, but he definitely could have handled this better. But I'm not surprised by this. The black church is full of a bunch of strong and independent single sisters. And I know I'm making an assumption here about her being single, but I believe that she is because the black church is usually full of single sisters because a man in the house is probably not going to be like, hey, look, we about to empty out the bank account in order to give this. Well, Chris, how do you know she emptied out the bank account? Because this line is for 1,000 you to give and another 1,000 that you brought from somebody else. She had the 1,000 she was given. She didn't have a second 1,000. That seemed like she was just giving what she had. How do you know she gave what she had? Because she said, I'll work on the other 800. So there, all your questions are being answered here. But you get women like this all the time that be like, I don't need no man. I'm not going to listen to no man. Can't no man tell me what to do. But then they'll come here to the church, be berated in front of the congregation by the pastor, and won't say a lick back. She said nothing. Now, I guarantee you, there have been men in her life that were with her romantically that said something that wasn't intended as disrespect, that she took as disrespect anyway, and let them know how she felt about it. But here, in the case of the pastor, she showed more restraint. She kept her mouth shut. She gave more respect to a man who was embarrassing her a bit in front of the congregation than I'm sure she ever did any man who she was seeing romantically. And then also this type, these be the ones that be like, they not gonna go 50-50 with no man, but they will empty out the bank account and hand it over to the pastor. So they won't do these different things for a man in their life. They won't make certain concessions for a man in their life, but they will then go to church and they will submit and obey the pastor who ain't they man. And that's just an unfortunate thing, man. So let me give you guys a little bit of history. So Perfecting Church, that is the name of the church here. And the joke of the city, and it's been a long running one, is that they're on 7 Mile and Woodward. If you know, you know. Shout out to my local peeps. But on 7 Mile and Woodward, around I want to say like 2005, 2006, construction started on a whole new church. Here it is, 2025. The church is not completed. It's not even close to being completed. When they showed the inside of that church, it was an empty husk that had construction equipment in it. It was crazy. Why is it taking 20 years, 2 decades for this project and it's not finished? Because it was supposed to be completely funded, construction in its totality, by church members. I don't know why it's been 2 decades and it has not been completed, because you can look here and see they take in pretty good money regularly. So I don't know how we got here. But on the news just recently, they showed that construction has resumed. So yay for progress. For the longest time, while everybody else been laughing about Dr. Umar not finishing at school, us here in the Motor City, the joke has been that new perfecting church building. I mean, is that ever gonna be completed? I mean, to give you context here, my son is 22 years old. All right. That place has been 19, 20 years in a building process, and my son's 22. That place has been under construction all his life. I'll give you guys a little more history. Back in 2012, Bishop Marvin Winans, he stopped at a Citgo gas station that was on Linwood and Davison. This is a bit of what some would say a kind of a rougher neighborhood. Shout out to my peeps that live over there, man, for real. My grandma stayed over there. I spent many summer days over there, especially in my younger years, riding my bike over there. See, what's the local high school? I think it's Central. So shout out to my peeps over there. But he stopped there. He had an Infinity SUV and was wearing a Rolex. He stopped there to get gas. He pulled up. He got. He got up out of there. Some guys beat him, took his car, took his Rolex. They ended up later being sentenced to 20, no, 4 to 20 years. I don't know why the sentence was that drastic. They were apologetic because they were like, well, we didn't know he was the bishop of Perfecting Church, as if that matters. But that was what they had said then. Um he got the vehicle back. It was not in great condition when he got it back. The Rolex he never got back though. That was gone. I think the Rolex was valued at like 40, 50 G, something like that. So it was like mixed reactions through the city in terms of you had two camps. You got some people that they were like, oh my God, I'm so glad that he wasn't hurt and whatnot. I mean, he took some lumps, but he survived. He wasn't, on his he wasn't in ICU or anything like that. Um, but then you had the other camp that really didn't feel that sorry about what happened to him because they were just like, why would you stop in that place of all places to get gas and you have a fancy luxury SUV and also you're wearing a $50,000 watch. So some people just was like, you kind of brought this on yourself because your lack of self-awareness was just astonishing. I'm not one of those that, kind of took delight on it. I was in the other camp of, I'm glad that he, got out of it fairly unscathed. He got slapped around a little bit, but ultimately no like serious dire injuries. So there you go, man. There you have it. This was a thing. It went viral. I understand why. The optics of it is not the greatest. She was in the wrong line though. I don't think that really changes things for a lot of people. Wrong line or not, people like the way he said this is only 1200 rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. And also people just believe that considering she was given money, which is probably all she could spare. I mean, if somebody give me $1,200, I'm happy to take it off their hands. But she was given all she could spare, and he says only with it. A lot of people really didn't like that, especially right now. Section 8 being canceled, EBT being canceled, the government shut down. A lot of people not going to be receiving them food stamps next month. Here you got a woman in here that honestly, I think many of them are giving and not considering what's about to be happening next month. But I guess that's neither here nor there. But people are upset. They just felt like he could have and should have handled this a bit more gently. He was, they felt like he was a bit insensitive. I get it, all that. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section, though, man. I'm very interested to hear from you guys. I'll holler at y'all later. Peace.